Tom Holland is such a lovable Spider-Man, and these films are just a great time.
Just not too good.
Spider-Man Homecoming, released in 2017 and is directed by John Watts, who has also directed such films like Cop Car, Clown, and the soon-to-be-released MCU film Fantastic Four. And this movie is starring the brand new Spider-Man Tom Holland, Jon Favreau, Donald Glover, Jacob Batalon, Zendaya, Marissa Tomei, Michael Keaton, and Robert Downey Jr. And we're talking Spider-Man Homecoming today because it is part of my series of watching all of the Spider-Man movies leading up to the release of Spider-Man No Way Home this Friday, and the release of my ranking of all of the Spider-Man movies going from 2021 all the way back to 1977 with the great TV pilots that those were. And The Amazing Spider-Man 2, it was a big success at the box office, but overall quality-wise and with the critics and fans, they were definitely left wanting a lot more from their Spider-Man universe. And it was reported a couple of months ago that Kevin Feige and the whole Marvel Studios team had a secret meeting in 2014 where they planned to derail Amy Pascal over at Sony and get them to bring Spider-Man over to the MCU. And it worked, because when we got our first official trailer for Captain America Civil War, that trailer ends with a brand new Spider-Man looking sleek, with the eyes that close and widen, with Tom Holland taking up Captain America's shield, and he looked freaking cool. And the best thing about this new Spider-Man is that he is a kid in high school, which is what Spider-Man is in the comics. And luckily he is in high school, because in this film he is planning on going to the homecoming dance. And if he wasn't in high school, that would be weird, wanting to go to a homecoming dance. So after the events of Captain America Civil War, Tony Stark sets Peter Parker out on his way while allowing him to keep the high-tech Iron Man Spider-Man-like suit. And Peter Parker is so jazzed to be a part, maybe, of the Avengers that he can't wait to get the call to spring into action again. But one day he stumbles across a very small arms dealer named Adrian Toomes, who is selling alien technology and is keeping his black market business alive. So Spider-Man sets out on a mission to stop this low-level crook while also trying to maintain a social life in his high school. And that's the conundrum, that's the curse of Spider-Man, right? Or at least part of it, where he's trying to decide between, saving people and doing the right thing while also worrying about a geometry exam. This was the first full-length feature film of Tom Holland as Spider-Man after Captain America Civil War, and you can argue that he is the best part of that movie. Of course, there are several arguments, in my opinion, for Captain America Civil War. Mainly that it's not a Captain America movie, it's an Avengers film. So the fact that you're calling it Captain America Civil War makes no sense to me. That's the whole rant that I'm gonna go on, though. I am not diving down that rabbit hole, and I'm not inviting those comments onto this video. But Tom Holland was a great part of that film, and Tom Holland here is just a delightable actor. He has such a delightful presence on screen that you gotta love him. You gotta root for him. He's such a great guy. And he wins the part of Spider-Man because he can do his own flips and the videos that he sent in, and he does a great Marty McFly, Michael J. Fox impersonation. Seriously, go back and watch Back to the Future, and then watch Tom Holland's American accent while performing Peter Parker. It's very identical. Even like the stuttering and the, whoa, Doc, whoa, dude, you have a metal arm? Wow! But hey, if you have a British accent and you're trying to imitate an American accent, Back to the Future is not a bad place to start. And I like that we're grounding Spider-Man in high school. He's a sophomore, actually, so he is young. He is a kid that gets these godlike Spider-Man powers. And that's part of the whole curse, is trying to figure out how you balance your life. And with great power comes great responsibility, even though, again, you don't say that line in Spider-Man films anymore. So you can tell the conundrum is there for him, but also this Peter Parker seems to have a lot of things okay going on in his life, and he has a lot of things figured out. He's going to school and he seems to be doing pretty well. Yes, he lives with his Aunt May. I'm assuming that Uncle Ben died years before that we never got to see, and I'm sure the studio was like, we're not doing the origin of Spider-Man again, we're just gonna move on from that. But this family, Aunt May, seemed to be doing pretty well financially, which is kind of hard for me being a Spider-Man fan from the comics. You can argue that Spider-Man's greatest villain is Doc Doc Ock, or Green Goblin, or hell, even Venom. But if you look at it, if you really look at it, Spider-Man's main antagonist is poverty. He's always that poor soul trying to figure out, oh, how am I going to pay for food? Or how I'm going to pay for rent, like in Spider-Man 2. But here he just seems well put together and well taken care of. He's just a regular kid. Really, he's the Spider-Man for the new generation. He may not be the new Spider-Man 100% for my generation, or hell, I guess maybe just for me. Maybe I'm just speaking for myself. I don't know. I feel like I'm talking bad about Tom Holland as Spider-Man though, and I don't want to do that completely because I really enjoy him as Spider-Man. And I like the suit that he has here. It's very comic book accurate, even though it's kind of like a mini Iron Man suit. He has a Jarvis character, Karen, in his head who's always helping him, and there's this childcare protocol that is keeping him locked out of all the special things that the suit can do, which does lead us to the big conundrum and the big conflict for this character is when Tony Stark appears and Spider-Man messed up with the Staten Island ferry, and he has the great line of saying, if you're nothing without the suit, then you shouldn't have the suit. It's the person who makes the suit. It's not the suit that makes the person. I love that line. Even though Tony Stark in this movie is kind of a dick, he's almost more villainous in this movie than Toomes. He's always giving Parker all these mixed signals and not telling him flat out what to do. It's just kind of frustrating. Not to take away from Michael Keaton as the Vulture, as the villain in this movie, because Michael Keaton is awesome. He's so freaking cool. We really weren't getting a lot of the Vulture in the first 2/3 of this movie. I'm like, where's Michael Keaton? I want more. He pops up here and there, but it's Michael frickin' Keaton returning to the superhero world. Give that to us more, please. But there's a little twist that happens in the third act at the start of the climax, and all of a sudden he's on screen for the rest of the time, and I love it. The whole car ride, the whole car conversation is frickin' great. Michael Keaton just plays it perfectly, and it brings us back to one of the conflicts that Peter Parker always has. Do I make happy the people around me because they're my friends, they're my family, or do I go out and try to do the right thing to help a vast number of people? What am I supposed to do? That's really what Tom Holland is doing in here. He's constantly asking, what am I supposed to do? Where am I supposed to go? Am I an Avenger now? When's the next mission? Blah, blah, blah. Overall, though, Spider-Man Homecoming is a triumph for the whole Spider-Man character. There is one through plot line. There is one character art here that all of us can follow. It's not convoluted, and it's not cut and paste like the Amazing Spider-Man's films were. This character was rebooted after 4 years of it being rebooted previously. But this reboot with Tom Holland Spider-Man is fantastic. It connects with so many different people around the world, and you can't help but just want to see more of Tom Holland as Peter Parker. Spider-Man Homecoming is great fun, it is a triumph, and it introduced us to a spectacular Spider-Man. I'm going to give Spider-Man Homecoming 4 out of 5 Blu-rays.
I like it a lot.
Alright everyone, we are going to be continuing our series of Spider-Man movies with looking at the next MCU Spider-Man film called Spider-Man Far From Home. So he came home, but then in the sequel, he was so far away from home that he had to maybe come back eventually, even though in the third film there is no way home. So, yeah, God, what is this kid gonna do? He's got no home! He's got no home! But we'll check out where his journey far from home takes him next time. If any of you have recommendations of films that you want me to review on here, you can make a PayPal donation on the main page of my YouTube channel. Any size donation will do. Just attach your movie recommendation with your donation, and if I have access to it, I will watch it, review it, give you a shout out on the channel, and get my review of it published as quickly as I possibly can. So guys, if you've seen Spider-Man Homecoming, what did you think about it? Or if you've never seen it before, and you stumbled across it because of this video, then comment below, let me know what you thought about it. And as always, if you like what you see here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell. See you the next time I'm releasing my next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time with my review of Spider-Man Far From Home. So in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.